Nazeris, do you have the images from my scanner anomaly up, or can you get them up while I
That is a
get
great
into this?
question. They're
Um,
not linked.
they are not, just because I screened them from the YouTube at the top. You could pull up the
Hold on,
YouTube
let me
and
try something.
then.
Let me try something.
So basically, my scanner anomaly comes from. We
Oop.
just got done with Invictus Launch Week.
Yeah.
A few weeks before Invictus Launch Week, we had the Invictus Launch Week teaser trailer, and the teaser had a few clips that were included in last year's trailer for Invictus Launch Week when it was held at Microtech. And I didn't pay much attention to it last year. You know, it looked super cool, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't put too much stock into it. But then when it came back up again, I was like, that's really interesting. I wonder. And so it led me to think that maybe some of the scenes in the teaser trailer are showing off the next great star system. And I say the next great star system because it brings us back to the next great starship when the Redeemer was born. If you haven't watched those videos from way back when, 2014, there's a series that Star Citizen did, CIG did, where they had
And how every
fans
other ship was better
make
than
ships.
the Redeemer.
Yep, I
I
I really like some
I
of those
don't
other
know how
ships.
every ship was like. The Odin needs to exist.
Yeah, but
Like
basically, so
it was so good.
yeah,
Okay, so
go back and watch it. It's good.
I have the video that I'll just kind of scan through and I'll try and hit your images.
So here's the first image where one of the Squadron 999 pilots is flying over what looks like a base. You know, it's a UE Navy base or something like that. You've got a bunch of Gladiuses and Vanguards sitting out on the tarmac. You know, the hangars, landing pads, control towers, all this stuff, and it's surrounded by clouds. And looking at it, I was like, that's nowhere in game, and that place is big. Where could that be? And if you move into the next images,
So
if you
as
look
we're
at,
moving into the next images, when I first saw this, I'm like, oh, this is one of the space station platforms. But yeah, like until I looked at your notes, I'm like, oh my god, he's right.
yeah, I could be. This is
Yes.
this is tinfoil hat time.
Yeah, this is an
But if you
entire
look,
segment about tinfoil hats, so I hope everyone brought their own. We do not supply tinfoil hats yet, but that sounds like a great merch idea.
yeah, that would actually really fun. But you can see that this base, the airfield, whatever you want to call it, is pretty sizable. But if you look at the architecture, it's very familiar to me because I'm very familiar with the Castra system. And the Castra system is one of the systems that people have speculated could be the next system to get introduced. Jaden, you hush. Because of its proximity to Stanton. A while back, when we had the progress tracker shortly introduced, they had, I think it was the Planet Content team, had a couple of unannounced sprints, and one of it, the one was unannounced system. I forget what the other one was, unannounced planet or whatever.
Content, yeah.
And so, yeah, everybody was losing their minds trying to think of, oh, what system are they working on next? And so one of the front runners is the Castra system, because it shares a large jump point with both Pyro and Nyx. So it's very close to Stanton, and would make a really good sort of loop
Is so
as
big.
far as
Oh, there's actually
Stanton,
mountain in
Pyro,
this one.
Nyx. What's that?
There's actually mountain in this one.
Yeah, that. So
So
in the
just-
background, it's really hard to see, and I couldn't quite tell what it was, but it does look like rocky terrain.
yeah, like if you look at and I'm like, this is the extent like pixel peeping here, like
Yeah.
over on the like very far left corner, it looks like sky. So I'm like, that looks like what we have for
Yeah.
the capital docking areas right now.
One
But
and
those are
another.
mountains on the right.
Yeah, those are mountains on the right. This looks like a great big, or they look like mountains, or at least rocks on the right. Um, there's clouds. In another shot, you see blue sky.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously, wherever this is, it's surrounded by clouds. It's potentially up in the mountains. And in the Castra system is there's two planets. One of them is a lifeless rock. It's actually called Bullseye, because back during the Xi'an Cold War, the military used it for target practice. But the next planet is called Cascom, which is short for Castra Command, because during the Xi'an Cold War, Castra was essentially right up along the Perry line, and the military took over the system. They had the planet terraformed. They didn't do a good job of it, and turned it into a giant a military base with a huge station up in orbit for servicing capital ships and bombers. Um, and so now he's got the uh, some of the concept art. Castra is also, out of all the systems, Castra, Castracom, and then the landing zone, which is the city of Sherman. Sherman used to be basically just one big military base. And most of it was demilitarized and privatized, and it's now a bustling city and a major landing zone on Cascom. And but Sherman is built into the side of Ulysses Peak, the really high mountain on Cascom. And the reason all those clouds are there is because the UEE did a sloppy job of terraforming the planet. And so now, during much of the year, the entire planet is covered in a thick cloud layer.
Hmm.
And so a lot of times you can't even see the cities below the clouds. There apparently are other cities, but they're not named or anything like that. But all you can see is like faint lights and glowing through the clouds as you're flying above it. Because the planet is often covered in clouds, but the only thing that peeks up through the clouds is Ulysses Peak and Sherman.
Hmm.
But if you look at some of the buildings in this concept art, um, the buildings are designed in what's called monumentalism style, which is something that one of I forget which messer popularized during their reign. And so basically all of Cascom and Sherman is done up in this style. But you can see the shape language is really similar to the towers and some of the structures that you can make out during this part of the trailer. And but there's also still a significant military presence on Sherman. There is a military base there. And so it stands to reason that the for deploying to Stanton and wherever else for Invictus Launch Week, that they might have launched from the base on Sherman. So there's also that massive orbital station that used to be for servicing capital ships and bombers, but we know it's totally capable for servicing capital ships, and I'm sure has been retrofitted for all the cargo stuff and everything. But it's now owned by Crusader Industries because it's part of their Starliner network.
Oh.
So we know that they're working on taxi missions and transport missions. We know that the Genesis Starliner is going back into concept and getting some concept work done this year, like right now. It's coming up. We know that Pyro is essentially done and will be coming with 4.0. That Nyx is a super easy system because there's not much more to it besides Delamar and Levski. And so that's another easy system for them to implement. And so they'll need to have another system, another habitable system, another lawful system to introduce, on the tail of these, especially for, you need to have a place for hauling to take place as they continue to expand the quantum system. you're going to need a place for the whole sea to take its cargo. And the whole sea isn't really meant for, making a small 2-3 AU jump from Crusader to Microtech. That's not really what the whole sea is for. It's a really short distance. That's um, that's basically going down the block for a ship the size of a whole sea, or the larger hulls. And in lore, the Stanton to Castra run is like the equivalent, kind of, it's similar but different to the Kessel run in Star Wars, because you're going from you could take your cargo and go the long route from Stanton, the longer, safer route from Stanton to Castra to Sherman and everything. But that means you would have to go through Terra and then through Hadrian. Hadrian is 65 AU across, and I forget how big Terra is, but I want to say it's decently sized. Versus just going through Pyro, which is 15 AU.
Oh wow!
It makes for a much shorter trip, but you're running the gauntlet through a pirate system. That's why it's called the Stanton to Castra run, because it means you can really shorten your trip, save a lot of money on fuel, save a lot of time going that route versus going the long way around. And I think that's why Castra is going to be the next system, and why they put the military base right there, because it gives us a reason to go there. Not only is there a landing zone with people, it's a full-on city, but there's a military base and a military presence from which the UE Navy can operate. But it also is a really good location for delivering things that would be made in Stanton. ArtCore makes all sorts of components. There's companies on ArtCore besides ArtCore that make ship components. Hurston makes ship weapons. It's a really great system to tie in what we would have in game. A year, 2 years from now, to add in a system like Castra. Along with it being a fairly easy system to make, because it is just the 2 planets, 1 major landing zone, and they're really good at mountains, and Castra is covered in mountains. It's covered in mountains. It's largely covered by fog. Hello, they're good at making clouds. We've got clouds now. It gives them reason to continue to iterate on those. But that's really it for my scanner anomaly. I really think that they basically giant hint drop with that footage from the from the teaser trailer for Invictus Launch Week this year, and from the main trailer from Invictus Launch Week last year, that they all but told us, hey, this is Castra. Or it could be a Squadron 42 asset, but because of the clouds, because of the Rocky Mountains, because of the sky, the blue sky above, I think it's the military base on Sherman.
Or it could very well be both. It could be part of a cinematic in Squadron. So they said, hey, we got this stuff already. Why not use it in another cinematic?
Yeah. And it really could be, it could be a military base from the Messer era anywhere. They'll reuse those assets. But it's all too convenient that there's a military presence, military base on Sherman. And that Sherman is on Cascom. Cascom is in Castra. It's only, 2 jumps from Stanton. It's it's connected by a large jump point to both Pyro and Nyx. So it can make for some interesting travel routes, and make for some very interesting gameplay. Running the gauntlet, providing having to provide escorts for your hauling ships as they're making the Stanton to Castra run. Bringing goods back and forth, all that.
Yeah, and then all we need is Hadrian and Terra, and we got the Terra loop.
Yeah, that'll make for some really good hauling routes. They're not reconcepting the whole D and the whole E just for grins.
The whole C got significantly bigger, so
but they're coming sooner than a lot of other ships, I imagine. And it's not too difficult to copy pasta stuff, from the whole sea and the rest of the Misk line.
Yeah.
In order to get those big ships out and get them ready.
Yep. And we're gonna need stuff to do with them.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, Nazeris, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else? Because otherwise, I think
I do
can
not. I could have gone on an entire
up this
spiel on the lunacy of not claiming a system, which is more than half the entire Northern Highway, but it's fine. We'll cover that another day. So we also, I do want to mention that we did do a scanner anomaly, I believe it was, on... Yes, it was in episode 1, the size of star systems and why they're different between the star map and the SC Tools wiki. So if you guys want a deep dive on star system sizes, we did a great job in that one describing all the weirdness that went on with. They've been updating a lot of lore recently. So that's in episode 1.
They've made a lot of changes over the years since they released the star map. And they don't tell us that they're making those changes. They're behind the veil, behind the curtain.
I do believe we are going to attempt next Monday to be the roadmap updates.
Yep.
Are we doing both of them next Monday?
Roadmap updates.
Monthly reports updates?
Last week?
Monthly report updates?
Yep, monthly report. Yeah, we should be good to go to do the monthly report next Monday.
Both of them?
I think we should do that to collate them together.
Okay,
like
so
last time.
Okay, that makes sense.
And
I'm just making sure. I'm asking you to let them know. That's what I'm kind of doing. So that is the plan for next Monday. Depending on how much time we actually have, we might just come up with something else to then. But that is the current plan. So be back here next Monday. What day is it? Wednesday. We have like no time to write.
I do think that we're gonna need to do at some point. There was information from Friday's SCL that needs to be sit repped.
Okay.
I forget what it was exactly, but we do the Friday's SCL. If you haven't watched it already, was really good. They answered, gave us a lot of good information. So I just need to go back and watch it and make some notes because I think there's stuff for one of mine and I think one of yours in there.
Yeah, you were saying something about that. I also want to do possibly when we do the sit rep on that instead of doing anomalies or something. So assuming this is in 2 weeks, we do the sit rep, the roadmap update, and then the questions not answered on SCL that we've touched on or that we have easy answers to. I want to see if we can work that into the schedule because there was a lot of questions, at least for this last week, where we could just read down the list and answer like 5-10 of these questions just by almost all by the stuff we've actually done for Pathfinders. So I want to see if we can try and incorporate this kind of info dump, answering the questions they didn't answer, or just trying to put the information out there so people can stop asking questions that we have the data to already on SCL. That way we can get to the good, bigger questions.
Yeah, it's a good question, but we already have information regarding that, so go read this.
Yeah, and we want to make that as available and as easy to get at as possible. So that is what we've done. That is the next 2 weeks of Pathfinders. In other news, this is kind of I feel kind of bad, but this is a problem with why I'm actually not great at this. My YouTube actually hit 500 subscribers today. So shameful self-promotion because I feel horrible saying it.
Yay, cheers.
Thanks. We do post these over on YouTube in full, and I also split it up. So that is basically what the only content that's been up there for the past month, because I'm not good at making content anymore because I've been basically wholesale on streams. But I am planning to at least get something done. I'm trying very desperately not to make Minecraft mod spotlights, but it's the thing that's performing most on my channel. And it has been for a while, and I only have 2 of them. So join the Discord. Link is down below the stream. I did fix it. Ender, I forgot to say that. I did fix the link. But join the Discord. Let me know what you guys think about not only the podcast, but also the what I should do with my YouTube channel other than just posting these over and over. What kind of YouTube specific content would you guys like to see? So if I can get something else performing better than Minecraft, that'd be great. Because I don't do Minecraft that much. I do lots of other things. And we are swiftly arriving at 200 followers here on the Twitch. So kind of updates on the analytics for that. Again, this will be posted. Hopefully, I will get the full episode for this out on Thursday.
Oh, I should probably plug myself because
yes. Yes, you have lots of things to plug as well.
Yeah, I've built myself a studio. I'm working on learning all the OBS stuff. I want to start making content. I'm gonna keep it small and do streaming at first, but I want to make YouTube videos eventually. But I've got my fancy microphone here that you can see. I've got my fancy light set up, really showing how shiny my head is because I showered and buzzed my head right before the show. And, you know, got my fancy background on my green screen, so I'm having a lot of fun with it. But I'm going to be streaming gameplay and Star Citizen with my Hood Rat friends, but also just doing little short tutorial things regarding Star Citizen's development. You know,
and trying to lure.
Here's
Paul
how
out
you
of a
read the
job.
roadmap. Here's how you find the lore. You know, this is where you go for this and that. You know, our Nazeris and I are keeping our trade secrets to ourselves. You know?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because that's, you know, we enjoy doing this, but we want to empower you to be able to do it yourself as well in order to be engaged when you come in.
We would like nothing more than for everyone to know exactly what we know and how to do it.
Yeah, as well as to, you know, hey, I found this when I was doing my own search. Oh, how did I miss that? Thank you so much. You know, the more people that do that, it's the rising tide lifts all boats. You know, we all become more knowledgeable and have a better understanding of how all this nebulous stuff works. Yeah, Jaden Cottrell is one of my proud Hood Rat friends. We enjoy playing together, have been for years.
I think Tree is one of the most popular content creators that doesn't make content.
Yeah,
he's been. And I was. He's what you have a Lore Citizen. The Lore Citizen post yet?
Yeah, I just a Lore Citizen episode with Paul Shelley over on Astropub posted yesterday afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Where we did a deep lore dive on the UE Navy, and he covered the Navy and I covered the Marines. We had a lot of good back and forth. It was a lot of fun. I think it was, you know, really informative. And if you enjoyed my take on the Legionnaire and, you know, boarding and all that, go give that a listen. If you're not if you don't watch the Astropub, you know, the office hours and Captain's Tables, Nazeris is a pretty frequent guest on the Captain's Table episodes. You were just on, was it last week? I'm always like a week behind watching them.
Yes, it was just this last one. Yeah, last Saturday.
Yeah, you and was it Zark, right? Am I saying that right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just finished watching that episode. It was a good episode. And I'm supposed to. Paul's working on getting me mixed into the schedule to go be on Captain's Table as well. But yeah, we're avid parts of that community, and I really enjoyed doing that Lore Citizen podcast. And it's supposed to be going back on to do another episode with him and Algorid from Inforunners in jail as well in the future. So
nice.
Go give that a watch. Give Paul a like and a subscribe over at Astropub. And, yeah, we like
also
to
been on
plug other people. Yes, Puppet over on Frontiers. If you haven't watched his Banu Merchantman video,
it's so good.
My gosh.
I cannot wait till he does the next ship. Please do the Polaris next.
I'm not going to spoil because I know which one he's doing it, but it's going to be good.
Is it an RSI ship?
I'm not going to spoil it, but it's going to be good, and the timing is going to be good. And then if you don't know about Star Jump, Ender was here in chat. Grim comes in and joins us as well. But if you don't know about Star Jump, if you're not in their Discord, if you don't follow them on Twitch or watch their YouTube videos, holy moly, you're missing out. The videos they make are great. The Hanger Link app that Starlit put out is fantastic, and they're working on. Do you remember what the
Fleet
name
Viewer.
of their Fleet Viewer is?
Yeah.
Is it just Fleet Viewer?
It's
Yeah.
Star Jump Fleet Viewer, yeah.
So
Like, it
give them
is my
a like and a
favorite Star
follow
Citizen
and
app
join
that's
their
not
Discord.
released. It is so good.
Oh, I can't not wait. I can't wait to play around with that. It's what they've shown us so far is just really incredible, and we're glad to have them a part of our following here on for Pathfinders. But we're big fans of their work as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
They do an amazing job.
All right, and that's all we have for this week.
That's all we have for this week's episode.
All
This
right.
has been fun.
Yeah.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm gonna go have dessert.
I'm actually, for everyone here on Twitch, I'm actually going to shut down and come right back. So, because today is one of my normal streaming days, we're going to finish out and we're going to go till about 5, possibly 6 hours of streaming. So we've got about 2.5 done so far. So we'll be back and we'll probably be playing some Shipbreaker after that. And possibly some other stuff, depends on how I feel. So we're going to shut down the stream and I'll be right back. And Tree, you have a good dessert.
Thank you much. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. And as always, be kind.